Hello again, everybody. We are back in Nevada with some new property up in the northwest part of the state in Humboldt County. Specifically, people, we're going to be talking about the Grass Valley Rancho subdivision, which is a residential area located just south-southwest of the quaint small town of Winnemucca. Of course, one of the nice things about this subdivision is that there are far fewer restrictions here than you will find elsewhere. To be clear, guys, that doesn't mean there's zero restrictions, it just means far fewer. We, however, will return to that topic later in the video. For now, people, it should be noted that as is our custom when we have a number of like-type parcels for sale in a small geographic region, the video you're watching is going to be more a subdivision-specific video rather than a property-specific video, and will be posted on every listing page for property that we have in this region from now until the sun burns out. And of course, as always, guys, we recommend that for those of you interested in buying land in this region, who want to dig a little deeper into features of a specific property, want to compare and contrast one against another that we have in inventory, we encourage you, as always, to review the property-specific notes found here on the listing page, as well as the photo gallery at the bottom of the page, which, of course, will feature photos from the specific parcel and, in turn, should help give you better insight into road conditions, utilities, neighbors, so on and so forth. With all that said, people, let's go to the map and show you exactly where these properties are. So the property we're going to be discussing today is located up here in the northwest part of the state in Humboldt County. Of course, Humboldt is both very large as well as a very rural county with a lot of what we will call open range land within its borders. Now, it should be noted that this is a part of the state which, despite its rural nature, actually has a lot to see and do. Living out here will put you within only 2.5-hour drive of the Reno-Tahoe metro area, where, of course, you'll have easy access to countless casinos, resorts, shows, dining, shopping, nightlife, not to mention some of the best skiing in the nation. And, of course, between Reno-Tahoe and Humboldt County, you've got a number of great lakes to boat, fish, and relax in, including Washoe Lake, Pyramid Lake, Lake Lahontan, and the Rye Patch State Park and Reservoir located here in nearby Pershing County. And it is also worth noting that Humboldt County, or more specifically the Black Rock Desert region up here, is home to the annual Burning Man Festival. Now, of course, this may not be everyone's jam, but if you enjoy doing peyote in the desert for a week with thousands and thousands of strangers, this may be the place for you to buy some land. Finally, people, it is worth noting that despite the fact I've used the word rural about a half dozen times so far, Humboldt County is home to the town of Winnemucca, the county seat and population center of the county, and home to roughly 8,000 Nevadans. Of course, in a town with a population this large, it means you'll have easy access to groceries and supplies, including the ubiquitous Walmart and Ace Hardware, both of which should come in handy should you decide to develop the property, as well as medical facilities, casinos, restaurants, schools, and churches, all of which should come in handy should you decide to raise a family. So with all that said, guys, let's talk about this specific area, the Grass Valley Rancho subdivision. So first off, this sub occupies roughly this area you see circled here on the map. And of course, the first thing you'll notice is exactly how close these properties sit to the actual town of Winnemucca, really only about a 5-minute drive up the road, which of course means that these properties are not super remote, but really sit within easy driving distance of whatever groceries and supplies you're going to need. That's the first thing. The second thing you'll notice is that when we look at this region on the map and all the sort of outlined little residential areas that surround Winnemucca, you'll notice a lot of dense clusters of home sites over here, and most notably up here. Grass Valley Ranches, however, when we scrutinize a little more on the map, you will see doesn't have that. And the primary reason is because this subdivision, when it was created, was more generously portioned. So these little communities you see up here are filled with landowners who each have home sites built on 1, maybe 2 acres of land. Whereas Grass Valley Ranchos, and you'll see this if we look at the plat, is comprised instead of a lot of parcels of roughly 5 acres in size. Here's one that's 4.3, 4.7, 4.9, 5, you get the point. So when we look at it on the map, it's not so much that nobody's living out here, it's that all these landowners simply have more land to call their own, more space, and hence more privacy. And what you'll see as we get to the zoning is that this opens the land up in the area to be used for more than just merely residential development. More on that in a bit. Now, as we go to the photo gallery here, I'll tell you that this is a subdivision that's big enough to have a little more diversity in the features and amenities of each property. So, in a lot of subs, if there's power on one property, there'll be power everywhere. If there's roads paved on one street, you'll see roads paved on all the streets. That, however, is not the case here, and that's both because of the size of the region as well as where the concentrations of development are. Whatever the case, we're debuting a handful of listings out here where some of the roads will look like this, and some will look like this. Additionally, while all these properties have access to power lines and underground utilities, some properties will have them at the lot line and some will simply be close by, say within 1 or 2 blocks. Some will be in areas where the neighbors' homes look like this, and some will be in areas where the neighbors' homes look like this. Some with neighbors right next door, some with neighbors a mile away. All of this, of course, is my way of saying that there's enough diversity to the features in this region that anyone thinking of buying out here is encouraged to review the photo galleries and the property notes on each page to get a sense of which property, shall we say, suits your disposition. At the very least, however, the thing that all of these lots have in common is that they consist of nice, flat land, easy to park on, easy to build on, in a nice kind of quiet country setting, and all of them boast these great views of the nearby surrounding mountains. So with all that said, I will direct your attention up here to the top of the page as we discuss zoning. So first off, up here in small government rural Nevada, as you can expect, all the land in the Grass Valley Rancho subdivision has, let's throw it up on the screen, no HOA, no annual dues, no time limits on building, no covenants, and no restrictions. And of course, all this equates to property owners being able to develop the land with greater freedom and independence than they will find elsewhere. Now, of course, people, just because this region has no subdivision-specific restrictions does not mean that it is without formal zoning. Nay. On the contrary, Humboldt County has designated this area as an M3 or open land use district. And for anyone curious about what in the world that means, if you click this link right here, you will be taken to an excerpt from the Humboldt County zoning ordinance, which actually bothers to go into some detail on the topic. For instance, people, it enumerates the fact that, as we saw in the photo gallery, single-family residences, in whatever form that may take, including mobile homes, are acceptable in this region. Additionally, the M3 designation allows for, as you could probably imagine in an area like this, agricultural and livestock activities, so of course farm, ranch, anything like that. In addition, however, it allows for some interesting conditional use permits, including gun clubs, dude ranches, golf courses and driving ranges, home occupations, and some commercial uses. Now, of course, the phrase some commercial uses, quote-unquote, is a little vague, so as always, we encourage anyone seriously looking to develop land in this region to talk to the county first about their specific plans and whatever additional permits you may need, but the long and the short of it is that this is land in a region which differentiates itself from others we typically see, where you've got a lot more options beyond mere residential development. So, really ideal for anyone looking for property they can both live and work on. With all that said, if you would like to purchase this property, you'll be glad to know that we closed on it and received title insurance through Cow County Title, which means that we will be conveying it to you with clear and marketable title. So all you have to do is come up here to the top of the page, click the Buy Now button, which will take you to this secure checkout, where we ask for a non-refundable, people, let me say it again, non-refundable $500 earnest money deposit. Now, to be clear, guys, this is not a property that has any financing offered. This is not a property where we're doing monthly payments. This is a property where we expect you to have the entire cash price. So if you do not have the entire cash price, you should not initiate this transaction. For those of you who do, however, here's the way it works. Come down here, give us the name for the deed, name for the contract, your mailing address. Then at the bottom of the page, agree to the terms of service, click Next, and on the very next page, you can enter credit or debit card information to place the $500 deposit. Now, to be clear, guys, this is an expensive property. Really, anything north of $10,000, we encourage our buyers to close through a title company on. Of course, you don't have to do that. Nobody's got a gun to your head. It's up to you. But when you're spending this kind of money, we recommend getting title insurance. And of course, one of the major benefits here for you, the buyer, is that with a title company, you've got a third-party intermediary who is not only handling the conveyance of the property, but also the disbursement of funds, meaning we cannot touch your money until such a time as the property has been deeded into your name. Now, if you're unfamiliar with how that whole process works, you'll be glad to know that on the listing page, we've got this helpful Notes About Purchasing, which goes into a little more detail here. But more helpfully, it links you to some pages on the website, which will go into even greater detail about this process. The first page is called How It Works Buying From Us, and if you go here, you can see exactly how this process plays out. Step 1, you place that deposit. Step 2, we're going to draft a contract. You sign it, we sign it. And step 3, the title company will do the rest, albeit slowly and over the period of about a month. And in case you're at all skeptical about placing money before seeing the contract you'll be asked to sign, you'll be glad to know we have a copy of our standard sale purchase agreement right here. You can click that and read through a generic version of what that contract looks like. It's a pretty easy contract, one page for signatures. If you got a lawyer in the family, have them give it a look-see, but it's pretty self-explanatory. Additionally, guys, if you haven't been through the title escrow process before, you're probably going to have a lot of questions about it. You'll be glad to know we have a page on our website entitled Title Escrow Frequently Asked Questions page. So if you click on that, it'll take you to this page where pretty much every conceivable question we have ever gotten from a buyer or will ever get from a buyer is answered here. Questions about benefits, questions about potential drawbacks, timeline, schedule, logistics, so on and so forth. So we encourage you, give that a read. So in conclusion, people, for anyone looking for land in northern Nevada, I think this is a subdivision really worth considering, both because of exactly how close it sits to one of the few major towns in the region, but also because of the amenities it offers, such as power and underground utilities, which should make developing the land both easier and more affordable. In addition, it's always nice when you can find larger chunks of land like this, zoned with a certain versatility, which affords you not only the ability to develop the property however you like, but also the privacy. I think there's a lot to like about this region, and I hope you guys agree. Thanks for watching, everyone, and we will see you in the next video.